What's up everyone, my name is Ron from Comics and Stuff, and for today's episode we are going over the Marvel Legends series Wolfsbane action figure. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Wolfsbane, but I'm very interested in that build-up figure piece of Zabu. So let's just get into the package real quick. It does come in a clear window box showing off the Wolfsbane figure and that nice piece of Zabu. Wolfsbane down there, Marvel right there, Hasbro logo right there, Marvel Legends series at the top, and at the tip top, build-up figure, Marvel's Zabu. To the side, we got nice artwork of Wolfsbane right there. To the other side, some more nice artwork of Wolfsbane right there. To the bottom, barcode legalities and all of that. To the back, at the bottom, is, danger and warnings and all of that. Right there is the wave that she belongs in, as well as Zabu. Right there, we got the nice artwork from the sides blown up. And over here, a nice little synopsis of Wolfsbane Marvel Legends series up there. But now that we went through the package and everything, let's open it up and check out the figure. Alright, and now here is the Wolfsbane figure outside of the package, and I like a couple of stuff about this figure. I'm not the biggest Wolfsbane fan, but I do like a couple of stuff of this figure. Now, I'm going to get into it and everything, but first let's just measure her in. To the tip of a Wolverine style hair, she stands just a bit over 6¼ inches. If you don't include the hair, she's a little under 6 inches. Now that might be a bit tall for a female figure, but taking into account that she's part werewolf, mutant, I mean, that might play a factor into it. I'm not completely familiar with Wolfsbane's powers, but I am familiar with her. Now when it comes to accessories, I'm not going to include this, guys. This is the Zabu build-up figure piece. I won't even go through it or anything like that. If I collect all the pieces, expect a video on Zabu. Her accessories, the ones that's meant for her, is just this. A pair of fist hands. Okay? I like fist hands, don't get me wrong, but that's all, guys. There is some texture, that fur texture on them, but that's all. Very lackluster. I do know that she got a slightly less werewolf form, so an alternate head showing that would have been really cool. Now, when it comes to the figure itself, her head sculpt, I do like. There is like that dark maroon kind of color for her lips. There is shading on the eyes, a touch of brown for her irises. The eyebrows got a little bit of a ferocious look to them, and they crinkle up her nose real nicely. I like the nasolabial folds also leading up to that nose. So the overall head sculpt is not bad. The hair sculpt right there, I do like. However, there is some shading that's a bit iffy. I mean, you see the splashes right there. And that's what it looks like, guys. Just like splashed on there with no plan. I do think that there's a slight, like a light wash. However, that just might be the sculpt of the hair playing tricks on me. So I'm not entirely sure about that. I do like the head overall. Again, I would have liked another head sculpt to, help show that aspect of her power. Now, for the body, it is that brown plastic and everything. And I'm not entirely sure if this is reused. I mean, I do know they released a Tigra, but I don't have that Tigra, so I'm not entirely sure if this comes from that figure. Let me know down in the comments, but I do like that fur texture all throughout. And there is shading right there on her calves and on her forearms. But other than that, it's pretty bare. I would have liked a little more shading, maybe a little wash or something. But definitely having her claws a different shade of brown would have helped. At least it would have helped make her look even cooler. So the body doesn't got much paint. And her costume, what paint is there, glad to say, is well applied. As you guys can see, there is that silver on the buckles. Silver on the zipper, and they don't miss the mark at all. The blue right here does line up, and thankfully they do have that same shade of blue. I mean, it's annoying when one part is a different blue and another part is a different blue. So the overall look does look nice. The shoulder pads look awesome. I like how she looks. And that fur texture does not bug me at all. Now, when it comes to articulation, she does have a ball hinge on her head that makes her look pretty much all the way up. So that'll be cool for some crouching poses and everything. Down, all the way down. So that's not bad at all. However, guys, I wanted to show it does leave a cavity when you look up as well as when you look down. There is also a bit of, floppiness to it, but you do get tilt and you do get rotation. Now for the shoulders, basically T-pose, guys. You can't really push it up more, but it does do a full 360 that is not hindered by those shoulder pads. There is a bicep cut that works just fine. Double jointed, pinless, furred elbows that get you pretty much all the range you need. And there is a swivel and a hinge on the hands. Now she does got a torso cut, and that torso cut gives her good tilt. Good back, not so good forward, but you do get your rotation there. There is no waist cut to aid to the rotation, but that's good enough, guys. Splits, now that ain't no Spider-Man, but it's pretty alright. Kicking forward, pretty horizontal, and kicking back, just a tad. There is a thigh cut, double jointed, pinless furred knees that don't get you much range because of that tuft of hair right there. Now, however, the ankles get you pretty dang good back, pretty dang good forward, and you do get pivot. Like I said, guys, I do like how she looks. Like, I think they did an okay job with how she looks. However, she would have been a lot better with a little bit of shading, a little bit of wash or something. Definitely paint on those claws and the feet and all of that. And the articulation ain't bad. But now that we went through the figure, let's see how she measures up with other Marvel Legends. And our first comparison will be with two of her fellow wavemates that I do have. Right there on the left is Kazar, and to the right we got Cable. Now, you might think to yourself, this looks good, Ron, it scales pretty well. I would have liked a little more height on her. I mean, considering that in her wolf form, she actually stands a bit tall. So, this comparison, I'm not too big of a fan of. And in this comparison, I wanted to size her up with her surrogate mother right there on the right in Moira McTaggart, and who she later gave to in order to train her in her powers and all that, Professor X. But this is the MCU Professor X, the Fox Professor X that came in the 2-pack with Magneto. Now, like I said in the previous comparison, guys, she's supposed to have a little height on her, and the fact that Moira is like so tiny compared to her actually works in her favor. That works just fine. And Professor X being in a wheelchair, even though this is a movie Professor X, I still think works. And over here, I just wanted to see how she looked like next to some feral animalistic mutants. And it screams feral and animalistic like that hairdo. And over here, we got two different versions. We got a more movie-inspired version with the Hugh Jackman Wolverine right there on the left. And we got a more comic book-inspired version of it with the retro card Beast. Now, I'm more of a fan of the toned down version of the movie, because it is more lifelike and all of that. But I do enjoy my comics, and I enjoy how they sculpted the Beast one. I actually don't really enjoy her hair too much. But anyway, now that we saw how they look like together, let's head into the final comparison. Now, guys, I would have loved to show you how she looked like with some fellow X-Factor figures and all of that. Unfortunately, I do not have any. But I do have this Timber from the Snake Eyes and Timber 2-pack in case you guys wanted to see how she looked like, running with a pack of wolves and all of that. Now, I wanted to point something out, guys. Standing side by side, they look good and everything. But if you want to make them like run together, first of all, she doesn't have the articulation in order to make her do some really cool poses and everything. And when I did try, there was some paint rubbing. Now, I don't know what's up with the blue. It doesn't seem to like affect the blue, but it did affect both sides of the thighs. So I wanted you guys to be aware of that. I don't know if the camera is getting it, but it is there. I try to clean it up and all of that. So be aware of that. However, side by side with Timber, she looks just fine. So in conclusion, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm a bit underwhelmed with this Wolfsbane figure. I mean, there's stuff to like the sculpted fur, double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. The paint applications are pretty spot on. However, her power set is that of a wolf. And her torso and leg articulation do not really help much in that matter. It's hard to get into running poses, and when you attempt it, there's paint rubbing issues. So that's a problem. Also, she doesn't have quite a lot of accessories. I mean, she only comes with a pair of hands. But that Zabu Build-A-Figure piece though, I mean, I gotta collect them all. So if you guys are interested in the figure, I will leave a link down in the descriptions. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like, comment, and subscribe, because all of that stuff helps out the channel. My name is Ron from Comics and Stuff, and I'll check you guys on the next episode. Peace.